This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff and the whole gang.
Let's go.
We're
This
here.
is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. I'm your host most of the time, some of the time, Muff, joined alongside the Ohio Degenerate, the Ohio Homer, Jim.
Hi, Alex. You were like, there we go. I
I
don't know
was,
why moving your hat made you dark. Like it literally turned the lights off the
I
more
know,
you
I
put your
was
phone
like,
down.
look how like brooding I look and like mysterious.
Then you pull it
Spooky.
up and it's like, oh, there you are.
Then my white skin reflects the light.
That must be it.
Alex, our Mountaineer guru and our West Virginia superfan.
That's me.
And last but certainly not least, our officiating guru, Buccaneers superfan Nate.
Hard to believe we're halfway through the high school regular season in the state of Ohio.
Man, I'm gonna go in on you today. I got so many questions to talk about. So many questions.
Well, we'll
so
see if I have
excited.
the answers.
I hope so.
If not, I'll ask ChatGPT.
Please.
Cite your
Oh,
sources.
boy.
Today is Monday, September 23rd, and it's official. The Pirates have officially been eliminated from playoff contention, and they clinched another losing season.
Congrats, boys.
This is why we were not as hopeful as we could have been in the middle of summer,
We knew it was coming.
but Skeens had another good start today. 9 Ks in like 5 and I think 2/3 innings, and
So does that mean they're gonna
he
trade
gets the
him?
win.
That's what I was gonna say. That just like means that we won't have him very long.
He's still on like whatever his first contract is.
Yeah, he's only a rookie.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
This week we will break down big games in the college football world, NFL football action, and within the college world, we'll give out our winners and losers of the week.
Oh shit. Forgot about that segment.
Thanks for everybody that's interacting on the content on the socials at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Subscribe, comment, rate, review, poke, like, tickle.
Get the bell on.
Ding ding.
Ding, ding. And during football season, don't forget about our second episode each week, which comes out on Thursdays with your favorite degenerates in the podcast world. And maybe guess.
Not this week. We'll see.
We may
We'll
get
see.
a guest. We may get another guest this week.
Yeah.
We'll see. Jim's got some in the hopper. We may get a filler to get in there.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Without any further ado, let's dive into NFL Week 3, starting with Thursday Night Football as Aaron Rodgers and the Jets in Meadowlands Stadium take down the Patriots 24-3 as Rodgers throws his first touchdown pass to a receiver drafted in the first round to Garrett Wilson in this particular game.
Former Buckeye Jim.
I wasn't gonna say it. I was gonna let somebody else do it. Yes.
Doesn't mean it's his first touchdown pass to a former Buckeye, just a former first round Buckeye.
I mean, good for him. I don't know how to feel about this.
That's like I'm just my mind's blown that this wasn't a thing already.
Well,
Like,
remember that was part of the issue in Green Bay for him.
Yeah, why he was so mad.
Yeah, there was not a lot of top level talent in the skill positions.
oh, fair enough.
But the Jets get the win. Obviously, the next morning, Friday morning, you had the Mike Greenbergs of the world saying the Jets were going to the Super Bowl, but the Jets can very easily jet the rest of the year and break hearts. Just like the Pirates. Could be like a Pirates situation. The hapless Giants somehow find a way to take down what may be the AFC North whipping boys this year, the Browns, 21-15.
Yeah, that was like a bad playing the bad.
So sad.
Malik Neighbors does get his breakout game with 2 touchdowns. The Browns, is it time to just not give up hope for the Browns this season for their fans, but slowly think that the steak's starting to get a little burnt?
Nah, they're like Pirate fans. They stick it out. There's still hope for them. I don't think they'll ever like turn it around.
Any
I don't know.
solace in the win for the Giants this week, Nate?
Yeah, I think anytime you get a win in the NFL to avoid going 0-3, you can look at it as a positive. So we'll see how they fare next week against whoever the hell they're playing.
Indeed. We will not find out till Sunday next week who they're playing, unless for some reason they play on Thursday. Packers take down the Titans 30-14, as Will Levis has another 3 turnovers today. Malik Willis learned how to throw a forward pass in this one, in addition to his running prowess. And the Packers put up 30 points and don't have to run the ball 50 times to do it. Is it time to consider an early Christmas and Mason Rudolph in Tennessee?
If they haven't already, you've got to at least get him ready. I mean, you can't turn the ball over 3 times consistently a game and win at any level.
Yeah.
Were there any silly turnovers, like any flip passes that make no sense?
I know he had a pick 6 in this one. I don't know if it was a silly pick 6.
He did. I mean, it was a turnover. It wasn't a good. It wasn't good, but it wasn't like as bad as his like weird flipped pass drop things. Like it was just a genuine interception that could happen to anyone.
All right. In Colts Bears, the Colts take the win 21-16. It's the Jonathan Taylor show. Caleb Williams does get his first passing touchdowns of his rookie career, but also tosses 2 interceptions in the loss. Anthony Richardson with 2 interceptions to no touchdowns through the air or on the ground, and he made it through the game healthy, Jim.
Yeah. Yeah, good job. Proud of him. More of a testament to the Bears. Like I want to know because I missed this game, didn't see anything about it, but Caleb Williams, do we know if he did better?
I think he threw for over 300 in this game.
Did he stick with the system? So I mean, if he threw for 300, I'm assuming he did. He stayed in the pocket, I'm assuming. So one more feather in the cap.
I think he's showing signs of like hope. Like he could figure out how to play in the NFL. The first week it was like disappointing.
Well, and they still haven't been at full capacity offensive wise, as Keenan Allen was out again today with, I think, a heel injury.
True. I don't remember the injury, but he was out.
Yeah. I mean, the defense didn't lose the game, but didn't win the game either in this for the Bears. That's been their saving grace in these first 2 weeks. So I don't know. Maybe the Bears will figure it out and get competitive. TBD.
Next season.
Next season. Yeah, that's very possible. Jim's new team, the Texans, fall to the Vikings 34-7. Jim, I know you didn't get a chance to watch this game, but how does
I
it make
did
you
catch up on it.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Turnover bug, the interception bug for Stroud. Not a great day for him. Better day on the other side of the ball. Sam Darnold just going off. Defensively, Texans not good. Not good. Texans did not have a great day. Which
Yeah.
I mean is this early in the season is a good thing, I would think.
Yeah, you can make adjustments, make corrections. Hopefully the Texans don't turn into a Big 12 team for you.
Yeah, Tank Dell, man, not being a part of the system. They're not. I don't know what's going on there.
I didn't watch this game either, but I just don't know how Stephon Diggs plays into the bigger picture. Like that's where some of Tank Dell's, I think, targets are being shifted to. I'm just curious how that's going to play out over the season.
I'm wondering if they're getting bit like Buffalo did.
If it continues, we know that the quarterbacks aren't probably the problem in this one.
Yep. Yeah.
Next, the Eagles take on the once undefeated Saints, and the Eagles win 15-12. Philly's offense finds their luster late, and Saquon Barkley gets to the end zone twice, including the game-winning rushing TD with 1 minute left to give the Saints their first loss of the season.
I'm gonna give
So-
Saquon his flowers, but also the Eagles defense, from what I saw statistically, like going through the box scores, Kamara got shut down this week.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, um, yeah, Saquon is Flowers. He's looked really good so far, but the Saints look like a completely different team. Like it did not look like the same team we watched last week.
Mhm.
So not sure what that's about, but
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at this game, and was it like 3-0 for a large portion of that first half?
Yeah, I think that might have been the halftime score.
Yeah. So I was looking at the score. I was like, Jesus, I was like, what's going on here? Like both of these teams' defenses are just showing up. And then we saw some points late. But this probably would have been an interesting game to watch for those that, enjoy defensive football, field position games, and seeing some late scoring in crunch time.
I'm just looking it up now, trying to get how many yards Kamara actually had. 87 yards. And I think from what I was watching, like when I clicked on the button, I don't think in the first half he had 56.
Hmm.
Maybe. He might not have broken over 50 by the fourth quarter.
Okay. Well, we'll
Like
see
they
what
had
happens
shut him
now.
down. His longest run was 16 yards.
Okay. So we'll see what happens now with the Saints, with the first two games, just, the perfect storm for them with their opponents and what they had going on, or, uh, are they maybe not what we thought they were? More to come. The Chargers come into Pittsburgh and help the Steelers improve to 3-0 as the Steelers take this one 20-10. My sister and brother-in-law were at this game as Chargers fans. Boo.
You know what's gonna piss me off
what?
about this whole thing? The story's gonna be how Justin Fields left with an injury, re-aggravated injury. It's gonna be the talk of
Not Fields, Herbert.
yeah, exactly. Like that, it's gonna piss me off. Like, let's not talk about how they shut J.K. Dobbins down because he had less than what he was projecting. I think it was like 70 yards was the over.
Did you have
Yeah.
a bet on that, Jim?
Yes, I did.
I was like, how did you know this? And I was like,
They
wait, he
shut
had a
him
bet.
down. I don't think he had 48 in the fourth quarter. Going into like the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, Steelers defense has been top notch, elite, a top 3 defense in the league thus far, helping them improve to 3-0. And the offense just does what it needs to do. Justin Fields did have his first turnover of the year with an interception, but it did not put a damper on the Steelers' plans. And as Jim said, Justin Herbert did leave in the third quarter, re-aggravating the ankle injury when Cam Hayward sort of landed on it. I mean, just as in a pile up in the pocket after a sack.
He was 25 of 32, 245 yards, averaged 7.7 yards a throw, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But Herbert left the game. Like, come on now.
C'est la vie. Steelers are 3-0 atop the AFC North.
I'm gonna end up cheering for the Steelers by the end. That's what's gonna end up happening. I'm gonna hate myself.
I will understand why you hate yourself given all of the shit that you've talked on the Steelers in the
That's what's
past.
gonna happen though.
And
They're
Steelers
gonna-
fans.
They're gonna back poor Mr. Fields into a corner where like he's not gonna get his flowers. I'm gonna be pissed.
I'm very pleased with Justin Fields today.
Like I said, has put them in a position where he doesn't lose a game. This reminds me of like rookie year Ben Roethlisberger. Right before Ben Roethlisberger was throwing the ball over the field to Antonio Brown, where he was just managing the game, making plays when they needed to be played, and just not making mistakes.
That's fair.
And then in year like 3 or 4 is when things started to, throw the ball around the yard. But speaking of team that definitely has not got their flowers in the first 2 weeks, but
I'm just gonna take it. I'm just gonna. Thanks, Muff.
what?
You said something nice.
I mean, I'm just making a comparison. I hope that it comes to be for the Steelers that Justin Fields becomes the next Ben Roethlisberger, because that means Super Bowls.
I hope he does too.
The Broncos take down Nate's Bucks 26-7. Nate, what happened here?
Same shit, different year. Whenever they play the team that they're supposed to beat, and they don't show up. They need somebody else on offense outside of the big two to step up and start getting some targets and some receptions, because almost the past 2 weeks now, and then probably going into next week too, everybody's trying to shut down Mike Evans because of the height threat in the red zone and 1,000 yards every season he's been in the league. But Chris Godwin has stepped up to the plate as normal. But again, they just need, whether it be K-Dot in the tight end or one of their young wide receivers to step up when that happens, and then they just need to get healthy on defense. Vita Vea did not play this week with a knee injury. Winfield was out again today with a foot injury, and they just let Bo Nix look like a Pro Bowler.
Is it he's going to be like MVP this year, right?
And that, based on that performance, but we always do that against rookie quarterbacks. It's not a big deal.
Hopefully we rebound next week, Nate, where you can feel a little bit better.
Yeah, I don't remember who we play next week.
Hopefully it's not another rookie quarterback.
Yeah, for real.
The Red Rocket gets the start, and there's an offensive explosion for the Panthers as Andy Dalton tosses 3 tutties, one to Deontay Johnson, who has 100+ receiving yards, and Chuba Hubbard has 100+ rushing yards and a reception touchdown, as the Panthers take down the Raiders 36-22.
I am not going to comment on the fact that he said Red Rocket and explosion.
Good job.
Thank you. I'm trying to grow.
Well, by saying it, you called attention to it, which means that you've thought about it and you addressed it.
Just let it happen.
Dalton became the first quarterback this season to toss for 200+ yards and 3 touchdowns in a half in his first start, replacing Bryce Young. Woof. Woof for Bryce Young.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Bryce Young. I feel like he's pretty much done. He's now going to be relegated to the back. His best case scenario is like a Justin Fields scenario, but who's going to pick him up?
A team that's in a dire situation. This could be a
Dolphins.
I was just thinking that, yeah, because it's an upgrade from what happened to them today.
Do the Dolphins make the phone call now?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Another hypothetical I saw, they said, depending on how the seasons go for these teams, they say, don't be surprised if you see like the Dolphins reach out to try to get Matt Stafford, Bryce Young goes to the Rams, and then the Panthers just get a couple of draft picks.
That'd be interesting. That would make sense for the Dolphins to want a top quarterback, right? With Matthew Stafford.
Well, and the Rams also have Jimmy G on the bench.
Yeah, makes sense.
I could see the Panthers taking that kind of, the owner taking that kind of smack. He's a very reactional kind of guy.
He's emotional.
Like he's gonna need a big win with this whole Bryce Young situation.
Well, I remember that. That's pretty much a whole new executive management regime there right now. Dan Connors in the front office.
But the owner's the one who made the call to bench Bryce.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I don't think there's any loyalties to Bryce Young as far as him being drafted right now.
But my thing is like he can't take an embarrassment of like, oh, you lost him and you got like a second and a third round pick. Like,
well, I mean, you look at like San Francisco when they drafted Trey Lance, they shipped him out fairly quickly.
Yeah,
and that's after they traded up to get him.
Yeah.
We'll see. Something's going to happen. It's how quickly, I think, is the question. Speaking of things that quickly happened, Tua got placed on the IR this week. It's going to be out at least 4 weeks. Skylar Thompson gets the start. And
I
the
have a question about
Seahawks.
IR.
Yes.
Does that count the week that you're hurt? Like when you get hurt in game?
No.
So
It's the next 4
additional
weeks.
4 day. Okay.
And the Seahawks dominate 24-3 in this game. Skylar Thompson also went out, and Timmy Boyle replaced him, so they were in QB3. This may be the absolute worst case scenario for the Dolphins at this moment. But on a positive note, Alex, the Seahawks are 3-0. Are they pretenders or contenders?
I mean, I think they're contenders. I think that Geno Smith did a couple good things today. He had one really nice throw to DK Metcalf, which I understand. Like receivers like
What were
DK
you
Metcalf,
watching that on?
red zone.
Damn.
DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. Like he's gonna look good based on who he's throwing to a little bit, but he has to put the ball in the right area. I mean, I thought the Dolphins did not look good today, but I think the Seahawks could be real.
Well, the Seahawks were also without their starting running back, Kenneth Walker, as well.
But Zach Charbonnet looks good.
Yes, he
did a
does.
nice job.
Yes. Yes, it was. It was a good game for the Seahawks. Again, anytime you win is a good win, especially when you improve to 3-0 to start the season. Nate, cue your Stephen A. Smith.
How about them Cowboys?
The Ravens get their first win of the season, hanging on for a 28-25 win over them Cowboys as the Cowboys' fourth quarter rally comes up short, as it typically does. The Ravens rushed for 279 yards. Dallas gave up 190 yards on the ground last week. Not positive for Dallas in their rush defense. Brandon Arbery tossing a 65-yard field goal in this one. And watching this game, you also got to see the Cowboys attempt twice the announced onside kick.
I think the announced onside kick is so stupid. I just get rid of the onside kick then.
But the Cowboys did get one of them.
Well, Alex, if you hate it, do you think they should go to the XFL 4th and 10 from your own whatever to see if you keep the ball?
I just don't think that we're just getting rid of it. We're just not keeping the ball. If we don't just let them play, we're just not doing it.
See, that's the thing I hate about
by the porch take.
That's the thing I hate about under varsity football for like high school, middle school, peewees is we don't kick off. So you could have a team that's trailing, they go down and score and go for 2, and now they're down, say under 6 points. Well, now the other team just gets the ball 1st and 10 on their own 35-yard line.
Yeah. I didn't realize in middle school there was no kickoff.
Not in Ohio, there's not.
Oh, okay. Got you.
West Virginia, we still kick.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
We don't care about CTE.
Brain cells aren't as valued in West Virginia.
We don't give a shit. It's somebody.
So the Ravens get their first win of the season. The Cowboys fall to 1-2. Are either of these teams in panic mode?
Oh, fade them both.
I would think the Ravens got to feel good getting a win, but you still got to be somewhat panicked given how you almost blew that lead. And if I'm a Cowboys fan, I am very panicked because you can't stop a high school offense from running on you right now. Yeah, but that was something they talked about on Countdown today. They said how the Cowboys are thin up front and they have small linebackers.
Micah Parsons is where are you at?
I mean, you just game plan it. It's like you run at him, and then whenever you're going to pass, he's probably fatigued from you just running at him.
Yeah, they just beat him up.
Yeah. They need someone else on the other side to step up.
Jerry's too busy spending money on everybody else.
That and, the Micah Parsons of the world, those elite edge rushers aren't in a good position whenever their team's down, right? They're not rushing the passer. That team does not have to drop back, which is why you're seeing a lot of this this rushing attack because those teams are up. They don't have to step, have 5-step drops, be in the shotgun, and sit in the pocket for 4 or 5 seconds. They can just get it out quick and hand it off.
Fair enough.
In a game riddled by injuries, IR, and players ruled out for the week, it is the Rams that come out victorious 27-24 over the 49ers with a last-minute field goal. We had no Deebo Samuel, no George Kittle, no Christian McCaffrey, no Cooper Kupp, no Puka Nacua. But Kyron Williams does have 2 rushing touchdowns in the win, and Juwan Jennings has 3, count them, 1, 2, 3 touchdowns receiving to go with 175 yards through the air from Brock Purdy.
I mean, the Rams came back out of nowhere to win this game. Brandon Ayuk almost got in a fight after the game on the sideline. Didn't look good for the 49ers.
Yeah, if I'm Brandon Ayuk, this should have been the game where you stepped up and proven that contract you had to cry for.
Yeah.
That's the one. I think we found it. It is different without the other receivers and Christian McCaffrey. That's like being the only real target. And obviously he did potentially take some of the attention away from Juwan Jennings in this one, which may have helped him have a big day.
Right. And plus it's a divisional opponent, which as I think we can all agree these divisional games are much tougher to win because everybody is used to seeing you twice a year, whether you have your top players or not.
Yeah. So I don't look as much into the Brandon Ayuk situation in this particular game, but if this continues, then yes, there's going to be a lot of, why'd you want all that money again? But we will see. MCDC and the new look Lions take down Kyler Murray and the Cardinals 20-13. The Lions hold on. Amon-Ra St. Brown has a touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs and Dave Montgomery in the wind. And Maserati Marv got a touchdown in the loss for the Cardinals. Nate, what's MCDC doing with his house?
So this came across my feed earlier in the week that apparently after the loss to Tampa Bay last week, fans were not happy about the 1-2 start. And somehow, some way, MCDC's home address got leaked. And he was the victim of some harassment and threats or whatever. So he decided to up and sell his house to try to seek more privacy and listed his home for $4.5 million, and they had a deal pending within 24 hours.
It's just crazy to me. It's like sad that people suck so much.
And I mean, again, it's the recent success you just get to them, I guess.
Yeah. But Lions do get the win in this one. Live look in Sunday Night Football, Chiefs, Falcons.
7-0 Falcons.
It's got to be early.
9:22 and counting in the first.
Ooh, Falcons take the opening kick.
Took the opening drive, went down in a touchdown pass to a wide-ass open Drake London.
Nice. What do we think? Chiefs win this one or the Falcons make it happen?
I think the Chiefs have too much going for them to lose this, but I think it's going to be a challenge, especially without Pacheco, and they got to get Kelsey back on track.
Yep.
Jim,
Nate, thoughts?
Jim, do you think they'll rig it till the Chiefs win?
I'm 50-50 on it. I don't know.
I will say it did look like in the end of that Dallas game, there was some continued calls that were going in Dallas's favor. And what Nate said was the softest roughing the passer penalty ever.
So when you're insinuating that it's also rigged, Muff, are you on Team Jim?
I'm just saying that there were a lot of ticky-tack calls towards the end of that Dallas game.
I heard yes.
That's what I heard.
Jaguars at Bills and Monday Night Football. Double dip as the Commanders also travel to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. Who we got in the Jaguars-Bills game? Jim?
I want the Bengals.
What?
Huh?
I heard Bengals.
You didn't answer the question.
I said, who do you want in the Jaguars? I said, who do you want in the Jaguars-Bills game, Jim?
Oh, my fault. Jaguars.
All right, Nate,
I think the Bills come out on top in this one.
Alex.
Bills.
Yeah, give me the Bills at home as well. All right, Jim, Commanders, Bengals.
I want the Bengals.
There we go.
Alex,
Bengals.
Nate.
Give me Joey Burrow.
I have to be contrarian in this one. Give me the Commanders. Just as like this is like that announcer's jinx
Yeah.
where if everybody picks the Bengals. Well, you know what? Never mind. I picked the Bengals because I want them to lose. Never mind. Give me the Bengals. We'll do this. We'll see if we can get the announcer's jinx on this one. Any other thoughts from NFL Week 3?
No, I'm good.
Brings us into college football Week 4. Starting off with kicker talk as Temple's Maddox Trujillo.
Sure.
Maddox,
Uh,
old Maddox
Tru-
from Temple.
I think it's
What's
Trujillo.
Trujillo.
Yeah.
Maddox Trujillo drills his record 64-yard field goal off the crossbar and in, I'm assuming, Nate?
Correct.
Why it's a record. Good for Maddox Trujillo, I think is what we're going to settle on there.
Yep.
Before we get into our games, Colorado takes down Baylor 38-31 as a Hail Mary on the last play of regulation off of the arm of Shadur Sanders gets the Buffs to overtime where they score and Travis Hunter puts the game on ice as the Colorado fans storm the field.
I can't stand Colorado.
Alex.
What can't you stand about this one? I need you to verbalize what the issue
Colorado.
is. But what
Why-
about this game?
Why are you storming the field over a win against Baylor?
I'm sorry.
Because it
Hail
was a
Mary.
last second Hail Mary.
Yeah.
I don't even care about that. That was just my general feeling. I don't have anything specific.
I think you're off base on this one, bud.
I just can't stand them. It has nothing to do with this game specifically.
Jim,
Yeah,
so
but-
if Ohio State beat Rutgers on a Hail Mary and goes to overtime and wins it on a fumble, and they rush the field.
Okay, but I think that's the point. Like, I think that's where we've screwed up, is we've put Colorado on an elite program level. Like, that's where everything's gone wrong.
Well, yeah, I think their fans are showing that they don't have high expectations if we're storming the
Right.
field after a Baylor win.
Yeah, that's fine. Let them be. Like, the fans aren't Dion. They're happy they beat Baylor in an amazing like turn of events. Let them be.
Baylor a bottom feeder this year, Alex?
Yeah.
Nothing to be proud of.
I mean, nothing overly exciting, but Colorado's not a great team. Like, they aren't. I mean, they are not a great team, period. They're better than Baylor.
Obviously.
Well, yeah.
I
They have a great player.
We have a couple great players.
A great player.
Travis Hunter it is. All right, Alex.
but I'm sorry, Alex. So Colorado is not. What would you classify them in the Big 12?
Middle third.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not saying
that's
they're
fine.
bad. I'm just not saying they're like a great team. Like, I feel like in this one, a middle of the conference team beat a bottom of the conference team.
Okay. So where's Oklahoma State then for you?
The top of the conference. They lost to Utah by 2 points, who was also
Yeah, that's fine.
towards the top of the conference. I would consider like Utah, Kansas State, even though they played like garbage. Utah, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, like that to me is like our top of the conference. Then you go into like a Colorado type team, could be in that next tier, maybe down.
Where's West Virginia?
Depending on the day.
Moving into
No, I'm asked. No, I want to know sincerely.
If you
Is
break
West
the Big
Virginia
12,
with
say okay, so
Colorado?
we'll say like fourths, kind of. My
Yeah.
upper fourth, my top fourth right now would be
Uh-huh.
like Utah, Oklahoma State. If Kansas State's good, Kansas State, okay. The next rung down,
That's
probably
three.
what?
That's
He's,
three.
he's putting him into like 4 tiles.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
saying like Yeah, and
Okay.
not going through all of them. I
Sure.
would say WV would be like in the third one down. And at this point, Colorado, because of their players are better than most WVUs as far as like who their top players are and who our top players are. I would say that they're higher. They're probably in
Okay.
the second rung
Okay.
down. I do not believe that they are the top of our conference.
That's fine. I think you and I should talk about this later.
Oh boy,
I
I
think
thought
you
that
and
was
I
tough.
will disagree and then come to an agreement. Like I think we're on the same path, but I think you can get through your bias and look at the conference and you'll agree.
Speaking of the Big 12,
I was split.
Alex and I took in most of a game in Morgantown this weekend as WVU beats Kansas 32-28 in
God
another
bless.
weather delay game.
I mean, if we didn't win that, Muff saw the physical shift in my being.
I did.
I was depressed. I was sleepy. I was just straight up not having a good time. And then when WV won, I was like, oh, look. I mean, I did have a big coffee too, which probably perked me up some, but it the the feeling of hope, it slightly was like it almost burned completely out. Like it is pretty much like doused with water, but it has like that little burning ember where like on and off I could have a little like a flame, and that's still there. And if we would have lost to Kansas, it would have burned all the way out.
So what does this win do for Neil Brown?
Thank you.
I I don't know. I still think that there's plenty of time left that he is going to like screw it up. Like I don't think that this win that if you got the temperature of the stadium and how much every single person in that stadium fucking hates Neil Brown, I don't think winning this game changes anybody's opinion on that.
There
Muff,
were
do you concur
so
with that?
there were so many just people that had to be football experts expressing their opinions very loudly at this game. And I'm just
Yes.
like, I think everybody in the stadium has just thrown common sense out the window. And it's just whatever happened, they are going to say the opposite of is to what should have been done from any position that a coach has on the field because they just wanted to prove that Neil Brown was doing the wrong thing.
Yes.
Like everybody, anytime Kansas had a good play, it was, why the hell aren't we blitzing? Like literally multiple people around us were like, they need to blitz, they need to blitz, they need to blitz every play. See what happens when they blitz, even if it was like 3rd and 20. Why didn't we blitz on that one? They just got 12 yards. Jesus Christ, people, it's 4th down. They're punting. Why do we need to be worried about this? Like, there's all situational awareness was out the window for that
Yeah,
game.
and there was like definitely merit to what some of these people were saying. Don't get me wrong. Like we needed to play a much more aggressive defense in plenty of points in the game where we just like sat on our haunches. To me, right now, what it feels like watching a WV game is that we came up with a game plan before the game and we wrote down in order what plays we're going to play. It doesn't matter what the game is like, what the level of intensity is in this moment, what the score. Like we're just going to run this play. And it doesn't matter if it's 3rd and 10 or if it's 3rd and 3. Was our play. When we look down, this was what we were supposed to call here, so we're just going to call it.
Yes. And for the record, Alex and I left during this weather delay. About
Yes.
10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We walked back to our base of operations right before the rain hit. We were
Yes.
literally walking into the house as the rain started. And I witnessed all of Alex's mood changes on the drive back to the Wheeling area
Yep.
as Alex was watching this game on his phone.
Yep.
All right.
It was an interesting time, and Alex and I are bad luck for the weather in Morgantown.
Cool.
Moving on to Ohio State taking on the Thundering Herd of Marshall. Jim in attendance at this game. Take it away.
Marshall, first off, I love Marshall fans. They travel well. They came decked out. Ohio State fans, fuck you for booing Marshall. People looked at me funny because as soon as they came out, I was screaming and cheering in my Ohio State gear. I might have been a little drunk, but I was cheering, screaming, yes, the real team of West Virginia. Let's go. And people were like, what is this guy doing? I was having a blast. They came down and just marched on Ohio State the first drive. And of course, the media is saying, well, Ohio State started slow. No, Ohio State didn't adjust like at all. The linebackers just played what they were told, much like you guys said, just played what they were told to play. And it didn't make a lot of sense. Like, if the linebackers had just stayed home, that drive wouldn't have happened. But they dropped the linebackers into coverage, and the quarterback just ran. Like, it was like they knew what was going to happen. I think the other touchdown was similar to that. And then, what's his face? Will Howard threw an interception that was. Listen, I know Smith is like the second coming of Marv, but like you have to throw the ball so he can go catch it. You can't just expect him to pull it out of the air just because it's near him. But other than that, the talent ended up just winning out. Like, those are some dogs on Ohio State, and you're playing Marshall. Like, that's the end of the game. Like, that's it. It was cool to see Smith get a touchdown. That was on my bucket list. It was cool to see Marshall. Again, I love Marshall fans. They were great. They were hyped the whole game, even like they were down 21 points and still they were hyped. So they came in with a chip on their shoulder, which I loved. It was a good game as far as being from, the West Virginia area and seeing Ohio State play Marshall. It was fun. Good time.
You any tutors?
I did not.
What'd you say?
Asked if you got any tutors.
But it was cool.
All right. Ohio State at Michigan State next week.
Night game. Yay, NBC.
Friday night?
Is it?
Saturday night.
I think it's Saturday. The game that nobody's going to watch because Alabama and Georgia are on.
And I mean, Penn State and Illinois will be on too. I think it's confirmed night game as well.
Who really cares about this Ohio State Michigan State game?
Is Michigan State undefeated right now?
No, they
Or
lost.
they lost this last week.
Yep.
All right. And Penn State takes down Kent State 56-0. Penn State sets a school record for missed yards from scrimmage in a game. It's about a century-year-old mark that was against Susquehanna.
They in a real school, or did you make that up?
Yeah. It's about I think an hour and a half trip from this. It was like in 1912 when that went down. Penn State outgained Kent State by 650 total yards, maybe solidifying that Kent State is the worst team in football after what happened to them last week in Tennessee and this past week at Penn State. Yikes.
I don't know. The Pee Wee football I had today was pretty freaking miserable.
How bad?
I saw. Go ahead. Dave.
The first game was 50-0. The second game was 50-6.
Ooh.
All right.
I saw a TikTok of a Penn State player was running, and a large fella from Kent State ran into a small fella, and it looked like it killed him. Like a Kent State player ran into another Kent State player, and the TikTok was like, that guy broke his neck. And like, yeah, I would have agreed. And I was like, this is not good. And a follow-up TikTok, the guy who looked like he had broke his neck replied and was like, no, that's me. I'm good. I was like, wow, thank God you could reply because you look broke. It literally folded him and his neck. It was bad. Way bad.
I only got to see about the last quarter of this game because, again, Alex and I were traveling back from Morgantown.
I want to go back to the Ohio State game for a second. I forgot I was going to talk to Nate. Nate.
Yeah.
One of Marshall's touchdowns, he caught at the back of the end zone. He came down with his white shoe on the, I don't know how to say this, on the line in the back of the end zone.
The end line.
Yes, thank you. And they reviewed it, and they said it was a touchdown. My question for you is, where is it? I don't know how to explain this. Where is out of bounds on that line?
It's just like any other line on the field. As soon as you touch the tip of that line, it's out.
Do white shoes mess up referees? From the Chiefs game, this
Oh,
now
I
this.
absolutely think it does. I mean, in college and the pros, you have the ability to, everything's pretty much open for review. Anything from high school and below, there is no review.
Okay.
So with a bang bang play like that, yeah, it's going to be difficult.
Okay. My one last thing from the Ohio State game. Lineman runs into quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Offensive lineman, defensive lineman.
Defensive into quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
With face mask to face mask.
Mm-hmm.
The ball is going out as face masks touch.
So
Is
arm is
that-
going forward.
Yep. Arm is like, I'm going to say like almost all the way out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterback falls down. Visually, you see the head whiplash off the ground. I mean, that is excessive. Is that targeting because the face masks touch?
So the way that it's worded, to the best of my knowledge, is it's forcible contact to the head or neck area of the player. Now, the
Is
textbook,
that for quarterbacks?
that's for any
Yeah.
play. It
Thank
doesn't.
you.
It can be offense on defense or defense on offense. There, it doesn't specify that it has to be on an offensive player.
All right. I agree with that. Thank you.
Mhm.
I think the other like half of that is, or if you initiate it with the crown of your helmet, which means that you're leading.
Yeah, so that's on a. That's
Yeah.
what they're looking for is
Mhm.
players ducking their head using their helmet as a weapon.
Right.
But as long as it's, even if it's face mask to face mask,
Mm-hmm.
still targeting.
Doesn't necessarily
on
mean
how
it
you-
is.
Yeah, depending on how you view it.
My point, Muff, is that it doesn't matter whether it's crown or not crown. If it's forcible contact to the head.
Yeah, it can be with your hand, forcible contact
Right.
to the head. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool. Let's
Yeah.
continue.
All right, getting top 25 action. Texas beats University of Louisiana Monroe 51-3. Arch Manning gets a start in this one.
Did
Looked okay. I think he had a couple picks. Welcome to college football as a starter.
Yeah, I think he's going to take him a minute to get like yours.
Yeah, I mean these are some meaningful snaps he's finally getting, even if it is
Yep.
lesser competition.
Ole Miss takes down Georgia Southern 52-13.
Slower start than I would have wanted as I was taking them to cover, but they covered. That's what matters.
That's what matters.
I mean, for me,
Confirmed great team.
they
Sweet.
are
They
they are good, and they're not going to get the play until it all shakes out. Like if they can just keep winning, they are good.
Agreed.
Their real tests are when they get into the meat of their schedule. So they just win out. They're in.
Number 6, Tennessee takes down 15 Oklahoma in a ranked matchup this weekend, Saturday primetime football, 25-15. A lot of talk about how Venables in Oklahoma has just destroyed the offensive juggernaut that was, but replaced it with somewhat of a defense, a good defense, but maybe not great defense. And Oklahoma may be stuck.
Oh, I have so much to say about this game.
Go forth.
So much. First off, back to now let's talk about targeting. Oklahoma player. Yes, Oklahoma player catches the ball. Gets lit up. Okay. Catches the ball, makes one move. Like boom, down, hit. With not his face mask this time, but close to the crown of the helmet. Gets down, like blasted down, gets up, makes one step, hands the ball to the referee, and then he gets the wiggles. Like, oh, you seeing bunnies. His players come over and hold him up.
Mm.
They throw the flag. Like, yeah, that's something. They review it and take the flag away, not target. What?
Just because you get concussed doesn't mean that you were targeted.
Forcible contact to the head is what we just agreed on, right?
I'm saying I haven't
That's
seen
the
the
high
replay.
school wording of it.
Yeah, just you could lead with the crown of your helmet, hit somebody in the shoulder, knock them to the ground, and their head bangs off the turf and they get concussed. I'm not
This
saying
was
I didn't
straight
see
head
this
to head. I'm not making that up. I'm not over exaggerating. This was straight dome to dome.
without seeing it. It's tough for me to say anything, buddy. They obviously reviewed
Then
it.
let's say hypothetically dome to dome.
Here, Jim, this is the high school textbook rule
Uh-huh.
for targeting. Targeting is an act by any player who takes aim and initiates contact against an opponent above the shoulders with the helmet, forearm, hand, fist, elbow, or shoulders.
Cool. This is where the announcers got me jammed up, Nate. They said, well, he was a runner or was it in the act of receiving? It could change the definition of targeting. And I was like, what? What?
So I think college, it's worded a little bit differently because you can have a hit against a defenseless receiver that's not a targeting foul.
Okay.
Because the way they word it in the rule book for us in Ohio is for to not be a hit on the defenseless player. Again, so once the receiver becomes a runner, he's no longer defenseless. So, like if receiver's going up for a pass, they say the acronym to remember it is by POW. Is the defender either P making a play on the ball? O, did he initiate contact with open hands? Or W, did he wrap to make a tackle? If you have one of those three elements, it's not a hit on a defenseless receiver.
Got it. I don't know. To me, that was targeting. Like the Ohio State game, that was targeting by letter of the law. I get it. I didn't like it. That was targeting. The Tennessee hit, holy shit, was that targeting? And they were like, nah, pick it up. I was like, okay, like I got Tennessee, cool. Like I'll keep my money, but damn. And then the shit of it was, like in the review, they like pulled him off the sidelines. Hey, what's your name? And they're like, all right, get out there, next play. Guys, his own players held him up. Like his own players, like, not good, coach. And they're like, send him back out. Like that meant like at that point, player safety was out the window for me. I was like, this is a joke.
Well, it was out the window last year when Jackson Dart was allowed to continue in a game.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just as bad or worse. I didn't see what you're talking about in this game, but that was bad too.
I mean, there were two guys that ran up to him, like from across both ends of the field, and were like, no, don't move, no more. Let's get you some help. Also, there was a Gumby.
Yes, there was.
And not a pretty Gumby.
Yeah, and they made sure they reshowed that one.
Yeah, I was when they said we're going to show this, I was like, well, that sounds like
Why?
a terrible idea.
Yeah, they're like, oh, they're putting them in an air cast right now. Let's watch the replay.
Yeah.
Gross.
Who decided that one?
And that was a high Gumby.
Yeah, Alex, that was like just above the ankle, like low to middle of shin.
Yeah, I didn't see this one. Someone texted me about it, but I did not get to see
Wanted
it.
to vomit.
Not good. Not good, Alex. Not good. All right. Moving along to SEC action.
Injury.
Missouri takes down Vanderbilt in 2 overtimes, 30-27. I did see some latter parts of this game. There was some clamor about maybe Missouri's not as good as their number 7 ranking.
I disagree with that. I think Vandy's is better than we give him credit for.
So you think Missouri took them lightly?
Yes.
We will see. I think Missouri is one of those SEC teams that has a lesser schedule this year, so they may not really see much of a test until the latter part of the season or the SEC championship game, like a true test of one of the conventional powers, traditional powers. So we'll find out soon enough. Miami, Florida takes down South Florida 50-15.
Oh, wow. They don't. You're right about Mizzou. They don't play. They play Alabama, Oklahoma, South Carolina, like back, and that's it.
Yeah. So Alabama was the one that people were hanging their hat on for them.
Yeah.
So Alabama in a year that they're not as good right now as they have been in the past. So
Wow.
Michigan takes down USC in what some are calling a welcome to the Big Ten game, 27-24.
Yeah, I mean,
That first half, USC looked like dog shit.
yeah.
Yeah. But Michigan couldn't put them away. Like Michigan didn't make it look like a Big Ten game to me. From what I
No,
saw.
I think Michigan showed that they're still vulnerable,
Yep.
and USC's not quite there. And the question is, are they going to get there?
Everything after this game was saying Michigan demonstrated they still have a above average defense, maybe a great defense overall, and that their offense is going to be heavy run, which I think Michigan had like less than 50 yards passing in this entire second
Yeah,
half.
Orgy had like 34, I think.
Yeah, they just said, we're going to run the ball down your throat. You're either going to stop us or we're going to wear you down. And in the second half, Michigan warmed down. So I think that's going to be the recipe for Michigan's success. Not unlike last year, except for they had JJ McCarthy, who could throw the ball. Orgy is not that guy.
No.
But it's obviously puts a little bit of a mix up in the top quarter, in the top quartile, as Alex would say, in the Big Ten. Next, yeah, I think it does. I mean, I think it definitely makes people rethink USC after what Michigan has gone through the first part of the season. And I don't think this really changes too much about how people view Michigan. I think this changes more of how people view SC, because I think Michigan's going to be Michigan every week this year. I don't think there's going to be much of a drastic change. We know what we're going to get.
Orgy had
It's can you
32
beat them?
yards.
Right.
32 yards.
That's what I'm saying. Michigan's going to be Michigan. Can you beat what they're going to line up and they're going to say you're either going to beat us or you're not.
I don't know. Maybe I have a different take on the Big Ten than everybody else. I think USC can get their shit together and adjust to the Big Ten quickly. I think Michigan just showed that they're dog shit. Like
by beating a top 12 team.
I think they showed all they're going to do is run. I think Penn State will beat them handedly.
I remember last year, that's what Michigan did to Penn State to beat them.
I think they'll adjust. I think it's going to be a blowout. That's my call.
Next, in the Big 12, Utah takes down Oklahoma State 22-19. Alex, what does this do in the grand scheme of the Big 12?
I honestly don't think a ton, only because you're looking at Utah and Oklahoma State. If you if you listen to a lot of preseason rankings, it flopped between is Utah or Oklahoma State going to be at the top. Now, I think this knocks Oklahoma State down behind them. I think this is Utah's conference at this point until, proven otherwise. I mean, you have to consider still, though, Iowa State's in there, Oklahoma State, Utah. It wasn't Oklahoma State didn't like blow their season by losing this game, but it would have been a lot better if they'd have won. But I like that it was a close game. It was, it showed that they're contenders with each other. And
yeah, score check in this game, Utah was up for most of this game, and then Oklahoma State had a big run late. Because
yes,
I mean, Bowman looked like trash, and the stats I saw, he's like under 50% passing, and very un-Oklahoma State like.
yes,
That
And
game was weird.
yeah, I expected more out of both teams in this game.
Yep.
yeah.
Well,
But
with Rising not playing,
Yeah, Rising didn't play, and Zach Wilson's brother did.
and he's not great.
Well, he's Zach Wilson's brother.
Yeah. Yeah. And Cam Rising, I think this hurts his stock after college football. Like he didn't feel healthy enough to go. Okay, bud. You say so.
So does Zach Wilson's brother like moms or grandmas?
I think he's mom guy.
Mom guy?
Yeah.
Moving on to another Big 12 game. BYU beats the doors off number 13 Kansas State 38-9. Alex, does this mix up the Big 12?
Yeah, it does. This is a more impactful game than the other one, honestly, when it comes to the Big 12 and where things end up. Kansas State was supposed to be a big dog up there with the Utahs and the Oklahoma States, which I'm not saying they can't be. When they're playing well, they definitely, you know, look good. This game, they just looked terrible. Every highlight I saw, just not good. I mean, BYU played well. Um, I don't know.
You
This
said
this
it.
shakes
You
what?
said it twice now, and I really want to get like hammered down on that. When you say when they're playing well, as if like they
Kansas State has
had a
the
bad
bones to
day.
be, yes, Kansas State has the bones to be a good team. But
Okay.
if they play like they played this past weekend, they are not a good team. So like some teams I feel like just don't have the ability to be a good competitive team. Like this, like even at their best, their players are not good enough to compete. You know, I think that Kansas State does. I think that they played like shit.
Okay.
LSU takes down UCLA 34-17.
Nah.
UCLA was in it with them for a little bit.
How long's a little bit?
I think the first half.
I think this is what we expected, though.
Yeah, in the end, I think
Yeah.
LSU's a joke. I think once they get into the big dogs, they're going to get burnt.
17 Notre Dame takes down Miami, Ohio 28-3.
So this is Ohio Homer for you. I got out of the game, turned on the Ohio radio, and they were like, "In big news, Miami's leading Notre Dame," and we missed the score. We're like, "What?" So we like had to find the score. It was 3 points.
Yeah, it's 3-0.
Nothing.
Come on, like
Wasn't that like at the end of the first half, though?
I don't know.
I think it was a low scoring first half.
Yeah, it might have been at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah. So
But,
that may
like,
have
we
been
were
why they were
pumped.
excited. It was like after a quarter or after a quarter and a half, and it was like, oh my god.
They were like, "Hey, Northern Illinois did it. We could be the next MAC team to do it."
That's it.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Muff and I definitely got excited whenever it started 3-0. And it was 3-0 for a while. It was like for a while.
Yeah, it was long enough that we paid attention. Alex and I were while we were sitting at the W game. 19 Louisville takes down Georgia Tech 31-19.
That hurts Georgia Tech. That's painful
Why?
because I thought they would be contenders. I thought that they would handle Louisville, but to get beat that bad,
Iowa State.
Lose the prior week to BC, and then
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
beat Florida State, who everybody thought was going to be okay, and turns out not so much.
yeah,
Iowa State takes down Arkansas State 52-7. Clemson beats NC State 59-35. I think I remember seeing this game at one point. It was like 50-7. And then I
Yeah.
saw the end of the game. I was like, what happened?
I'm pretty sure they'd let everybody else in.
Yeah, that's what it
Everybody
looks
gets to
like.
play.
I think Grayson McCall was out this game for NC State, and I think they're in full wait till next year mode in
Yeah.
Raleigh. And Friday night action, Illinois takes down Nebraska 31-24 in overtime to add to Nebraska's loss total, which is 25 straight games against top 25 opponents. Illinois improves to continue undefeated, faces Penn State next week.
Hey, no 9 overtime game this go around, please.
I hope not. I don't need that.
You nervous, Muff?
I mean, I'm nervous that Brett Bielema just is a hoss on the sideline and may just unintentionally belly bump a Penn State player and get him hurt.
He is.
Listen, that's not. We don't fat shame on the show. That's
We're
not
not.
nice.
I mean,
Listen, everybody is fat shaming him right now, Jim. This is like well known at this point. Everybody's about it.
I'm not fat shaming. It's just like it was alarming how quickly it happened from a medical standpoint.
My question for you, Muff, is like the game plan for Penn State has got to be you have to control the ball, because if Illinois gets that ball and they're in it, They just kind of control and anaconda you and squeeze. That I don't want to play Illinois. That like if Ohio State has to play Illinois, score as fast as you can.
I mean, I hope so. That's what I want. Let him get out quick.
Just go.
Yep.
Because that seems to be his plan. Is just dry.
I mean, Bielema is a winner. He's figured it out everywhere he's been.
Yeah.
He's figured it out at Illinois. Northern Illinois' stint in the top 25 ends as they lose to Buffalo in overtime, 23-20.
Yeah.
And Texas A&M,
making Bowling Green look good, right?
Bowling Green.
I'm telling you, Jim, you keep saying this. Bowling Green, I think, is going to be a force in the MAC and is going to have a good bowl showing.
I hope so.
I don't know about you guys, but I can't wait for some Tuesday night action.
Yeah, buddy.
Is that usually around like week 6 or 7?
Yeah, I feel like it's not until like mid to late October, definitely throughout November.
Yeah. The AP polls came out. We have Texas still atop, Georgia in second, Ohio State third, Bama fourth, Tennessee fifth, Ole Miss 6, Miami 7, Oregon 8, Penn State 9, Utah 10. Still too early to get too worked up about those. Rank on rank games this week. We've got Georgia at Alabama. I'm assuming that's the game day game.
I haven't confirmed that, but yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Oklahoma State at Kansas State, Louisville at Notre Dame, and Illinois at Penn State. I do believe it was confirmed while Alex and I were at the WU game that I will be going to the whiteout game November 9th, Washington at Penn State.
Oh, nice.
It did become a thing.
It quickly became a thing. So, all right. So, our winners and losers of the week in college football. Was this college football week 4? So, we're going to start with Alex.
Well,
I would
I'm the only one
give
that
him some more time.
We will start with Jim.
Alex, are you ready? They aren't in there. Do you need more time?
yeah, Jim, you go first.
Okay. Winners for me, Rutgers beating Virginia Tech. Despite Greg Schiano and his poor coaching. Good job, Rutgers. Illinois winning in the overtimes. Tennessee, because I think they're a legit contender. Ole Miss, because again, covering, and I think they're also a legit contender. Losers. Oklahoma. You're changing quarterbacks. I think your change came too late. I think you're ruining your offense. Syracuse, because haha, you lost. Kansas State, because despite what Alex says, I think you're not that great a team. I think you're overrated. Toledo, because you were leading the whole game and then you took a shit and cost me money. Fans who have to watch games on the CW and NBC, because those services suck and I can't multi-channel when I want a multi-channel. So those networks suck.
Alex.
Okay. You're very insistent that I go early.
I'm trying to shift it up so not the same people go first and second every time.
He's just not ready.
I'm ready. I'm good. No, I just didn't want to be typing and trying to talk. So my winners of the week, Tennessee was my big one. They came out, handled their business against Oklahoma in a set. I feel like notoriously, at least for me, when I'm betting on Tennessee and paying attention to Tennessee, they tend to blow it whenever it comes to like a game where they're actually in the spotlight.
Yeah,
So they got through this hurdle. Oklahoma's not, world beaters, but it was a solid game in the spotlight. They took care of their business. Good for them. My other winner is Florida State. You finally won a game. Congratulations. Losers.
It was touch and go there too.
Well, I know. That's why I'm just gonna give them flowers. They got through.
Yeah.
Losers this week. I'm gonna go with Kansas State just because they got embarrassed by BYU. That was terrible. And probably Neil Brown, because I realized just how much everybody else freaking hates him too. And an entire stadium just screamed the entire.
Did they boo when he comes?
They didn't. I don't think there were any like egregious like group boos or like group chants, which I'm glad about because I actually think Neil Brown's a good person at heart, but he's just a terrible football coach. I told Muff when we were on our way home, I was watching the game on my phone, and I said I wanted to go back and watch it in person because I didn't have to look at his stupid face. When you're watching on TV, they keep showing it to you.
So at the West Virginia level, is it like bless his heart? Are we at that point?
No, right now we're like burn his house down. But I think that after that we'll be at bless his heart. Does that make sense? Like
Yep.
I think like
Yep.
once he's not our coach anymore, everyone will have the same sentiment that like he was a good guy. Like he doesn't.
Yeah,
I
then
don't.
we'll be at bless his heart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They'll burn his
Yeah,
house
I
down,
don't.
but somebody will get there before and say, "Hey, go out the back door. We're going to burn your house down."
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like we're gonna have to burn your house down.
This is
But
just a ceremonial situation. You don't have to die, but we're doing it.
yeah, yeah.
Here's-
That's a good point, Muff. I like
Here's some
that.
pepperoni rolls.
Yeah.
Here's some Mountain Dew pepperoni rolls. Go down the street. We'll get you a hotel at the Econo Lodge tonight.
Yeah, Connor Lodge.
And we'll leave you a
Yeah.
nice bottle of moonshine on the dresser.
Bingo.
Exactly.
All right. My loser this week is Miller Moss's Heisman hopes after a loss to Michigan. I don't think there's any way to recover that.
Yeah, no.
And my winners this week are the Clemson Tigers.
Ugh. Get out of here, Muff.
Stock back on the way up, and they also have a very, 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 very gentle schedule the rest of the way through that gives them a pretty simple path to the ACC championship. Clemson, good chance to get into the playoffs.
I disagree with you.
Who's going to stop him in the ACC?
They still got to go through Louisville. They got to go through Pitt.
Pitt actually looks like a freaking buzzsaw. I mean,
Like,
Wow,
Mike
just because they beat
Turner. My thing with
WVU.
Pitt.
they won
Okay.
72 to like. I mean, granted they were playing Youngstown State, but they put up
That's my
72
thing.
points.
Is look at Pitt's quality of competition outside of the WVU game and a rivalry game.
Stanford might catch them this week.
That'd be nice.
Man, I'm on Dabo in this buying stock thing. Nate, winners and losers of the week.
Winners for this week is the James Madison Dukes.
Yeah.
They go down to North Carolina and throw 70 freaking points on them and leave with $500,000. And the loser of the week is Sonny Dykes. Some of you might say, who in the hell is Sonny Dykes?
No, this is good.
He is the TCU head coach, and he was ejected early in the second half after getting back-to-back unsportsmanlike conduct penalties against his former school, SMU.
And I like that it's Texas Christian and like St. Mary's. Like it's like I picture these people as like very nice.
Not St. Mary's.
Well,
That's
I mean, so the Methodist.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was just like funny, like of all the like, I don't know, like
It's supposed to be the well-behaved schools.
Yeah, and he is not.
Yeah. There's our winners and losers of the week and our end of the breakdown of college football, which brings us to other interesting news in sports.
Other interesting news in sports.
Starting in the WNBA, as the WNBA has announced, they'll add a 15th franchise in Portland, Oregon, starting in 2026.
Wonder what the name's gonna be.
If you had to name it right now, Jim, what would it be?
Supersonics.
I was gonna say the Supersonics.
That was Seattle.
Right.
It's now Oklahoma City.
That doesn't have the same ring to it.
But you think
Portland Plunge.
the Portland Plunge isn't bad? The Portland Parakeets.
That's relevant to
Okay.
the Northwest.
Although he's probably not off. Like in today's society, probably not wrong.
Portland Parrots. I like.
You're on a bird kick.
I'm just saying of things that rhyme with P. Or not rhyme with P, but start with P.
Alliteration. Eric's
Portland Platypus.
There we go.
Yeah, the
Ooh.
platypi.
I like it.
Another WNBA news. Asia Wilson wins her third MVP. And also in the last week of the season breaks Angel Reese's rebounding record, which obviously reset earlier this season. And Asia Wilson was able to surpass it when Reese went out for the season with her wrist injury. The Aces are the favorites to win the WNBA title in the playoffs that started this weekend. Right? Saturday, Sunday, I believe.
Cool.
Nobody watched them? I didn't.
I didn't watch him.
I didn't
No.
watch them either.
Not
They have a very short playoff period. It's like 2 to 3 weeks total.
Yeah, I think they only have, what is it, 8 teams that make it?
Yeah, it's a short, and I think they play 3-game series and 5-game series, not 7-game series. So not as long as the NBA playoffs.
So could you make them like so Portland? Like I was thinking like Wizards, and then I was like, but Wizards are like technically boys in like that fantasy world. So like, but I feel like the Portland Witches, like you call the team the Witches,
No.
it doesn't have the same
No,
ring.
that would have to
You know
be
what I mean?
Salem.
Yeah.
That would be the thing. Make them
That would be
Salem, Massachusetts.
cool.
That would be the Salem Witches.
Could you imagine? That'd be a cool team, Salem Witches.
Yeah, things we burnt in a city
Oh yeah,
that
that's true.
is famous for killing
First of
people.
all, why did you just have to take a cool name and make it? Yeah,
I'm trying to tell you that Witches is not a cool name.
we have to be all historically accurate about it.
In today's society, yeah, probably.
That's probably true, actually. We probably should be politically and historically accurate. Correct.
Yeah. Not okay.
Got
Was
it.
Harry Potter? Was
Sorry.
Harry Potter a wizard?
You're a wizard, Harry.
So what was Hermione? Was she a wizard?
Yeah, she's
Also,
a witch.
wizard. The
No, she's a
wizard was-
witch.
Oh, but yeah, you're right. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it needs to be cool.
In the NBA, Woj, ESPN insider, is retiring to become the GM of the men's basketball program at St. Bonaventure.
Yeah, I think that was like some big news of the week.
I mean, basketball programs have GMs.
Yeah,
In
that
college?
was news to me.
Yeah.
Oh, in NIL, yeah, probably.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That's probably something that they're probably considering more of how to manage all that. So yeah, I guess that adds up. I can get down with that. Another NBA news, Joel Embiid from the 76ers reaches a 3-year, $192.9 million max contract extension that guarantees the former MVP a total of $299.5 million through 2028-2029.
There's a place called Rocky Butt in Portland.
Rocky Butt.
Button.
Portland Butts.
The Portland Butts. The Portland Peaches.
Female league.
So it can't be Peaches?
Maybe people that take offense to that. In Major League Baseball, Shohei Ohtani becomes the first member of the 50-50 club, but is now the 50-52-52 club, as he does so in a game last week where he finished 6 for 6 with 10 RBIs while becoming the first Major League player to hit 3 home runs and steal 2 bases in a game. Shohei, GOAT status.
Well, and I appreciate what the Marlins coach had to say post game. They said, "Look, we're not just going to shy away from him and not pitch to him and whatever, blah blah blah, whatever." It's like we're going to go attack this guy. It's like I can appreciate that from both sides of it. It's like you don't want to see this guy come up and every time he gets up there, hey, just put him on. Like go out there and challenge it. It's only going to make you and your team better. Granted, he goes 6 for 6 and has 10 RBIs, which you don't anticipate, but but for the sake of the game, I absolutely love that they challenged it.
52 home runs, 52 stolen bases.
So
Go ahead.
I'm just going on the Portland thing while you keep doing this stuff. The Portland Diamond Project, which was trying to get a major league team back in 2018, asked the citizens of Portland for names. Here's what they came up with. And now put this in context of the WNBA and you'll start laughing. First off, Portland protesters, because obviously there's protests out there. Portland Pines. Okay. Portland Wet Sox.
What?
I assume because it's always raining. Portland Crows. Portland Mavericks. Portland Beavers.
We got Oregon State out there.
No.
Port-
Portland Beavers. First of all, we can't make them the Peaches. We sure as hell can't make them the Beavers.
Portland Lumberjacks.
You get the Timbers in the MLS.
Okay. Portland Stumps.
That's like
Portland Growlers. Portland Rosebuds.
Nah, two. Look at it.
Portland Hipsters.
Stupid.
The Oregon Trail.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Portland Pioneers. Portland Panthers. Portland Steel. Portland Lions.
I think Pioneers is the best one of the bunch.
Yeah, Portland Pioneers. Portland Steel. That's kind of cool.
May I remind you that we've interrupted the fact that Shohei Ohtani set records to talk about Portland Pioneers.
This is cooler.
That are a theoretical team.
This is cooler. Like baseball's still going on.
Yeah, Jim, we're still in the regular season.
Ugh.
Another baseball news: Nationals All-Star C.J. Abrams demoted to the minors after staying out all night at Chicago area casino. Reports say that he left the casino at 8 a.m., just 5 hours before their game against the White Sox.
I don't understand why we demoted the guy. Could he or could he not play?
Maybe that was the reason he got demoted, Jim.
I mean,
he broke team curfew.
But if he could play,
do you break curfew if you never come back?
I don't know. There were pictures of him there playing at I don't know what table it was, but
was he winning?
I don't know, but I just think it's a bad look to say, oh, yeah, team, I'm going to go out till 8 a.m, and then I'm going to come back to the team hotel to take a power nap to go play in a game that starts at 1 o'clock. Apparently, he did play that game, and I think I saw he was 0 for 3 with a strikeout.
Yeah, demote him.
Speaking of the White Sox,
would you felt the same if he played, and hit like 3 home runs?
Wouldn't have felt a damn thing. Good job.
The White Sox lose their 120th game of the season today at
Portland
San
White
Diego
Hawks.
to tie the modern day record with 6 games to go. What, Alex? You guys still on this Portland thing?
You just said White Hawks on accident. I was like,
I feel like
White Hawks.
I feel like that would offend a lot of people somehow or another. White
yeah.
Hawks, Indians, white people.
Yeah, you're right. I'm glad I don't have to name this team.
Jim, could you imagine if Columbus had a team that lost 120 games in a year or more?
Yeah, that would be terrible.
No, they wouldn't matter because they don't care about baseball. Because once August hits, they're like, it's football season, guys.
Yeah, we don't.
Why are you still playing baseball?
So, what would be the Ohio State equivalent of losing 120 games in a baseball season?
In terms of Ohio State?
Yes.
If we lost to Michigan this year?
Jesus.
Not if you were 0 for the season?
Lose Michigan this year, it would be the same.
In Ohio world, it would be.
Mm-hmm.
In soccer, Pittsburgh is welcoming a women's professional soccer team, the Pittsburgh Riveters.
Hell of a name. That's a good name.
At the River.
Yeah, like the Rosie the Riveter.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a stadium?
It's probably going to be the same stadium that the Riverhounds play in, which I believe is shared by like Point Park and the Pittsburgh professional teams now.
Is it like a legit stadium?
Mm-hmm.
It's along the river.
Yeah, you can see it. It's cool.
It says right along Station Square, Jim. It's called Highmark Stadium.
Yep.
Really?
In fact, West Liberty women's team just played there this past week because Point Park is now in the MEC.
Huh. Is it as big as the Crew Stadium? Have you guys seen the Crew Stadium?
No, it's not that big.
I've been in the Crew Stadium. It's definitely not that size.
You've been in the
This
new
is a different league, Jim. This is not MLS.
one?
So this is like the next step down.
That's the problem with soccer.
There's too
So many
leagues.
divisions and leagues.
I know, I can't keep it straight.
All right, Nate, you're gonna have to decipher this next message.
So the PIAA, or the Pennsylvania Interscholastic, blah, blah, blah. So Pennsylvania high schools.
Oh, I thought you were going to continue on with the
soccer
stuff.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I just saw
the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Athletic Association is what PIAA is.
Yeah, that.
Show off.
All right, girls flag football. Let's go. Somebody.
So state of Pennsylvania voted to approve women's flag football as a sport beginning with I think it's the 2025-2026 season. And the National Federation of High Schools is going to write an official rule book for it in hopes that it becomes a national sport.
Hold up. Are we saying in schools?
This is
That-
yes, the PIAA is high schools.
Yeah, NFHS is going to write a rule book for this. So the hopes is flag football for women is going to become a national high school sport.
A sanctioned competitive sport, Jim, in Pennsylvania. What is the about?
Cool. I don't know where this will eventually have some lines where we cross and it's going to be a thing, but cool. Like,
Oh.
Eventually guys going to want to play flag football,
Well, then they'll have a men's league.
right? And then the girls are going to want to play
So
padded football.
The girls
And
are
then-
already playing padded football, Jim. That happens in high schools already.
Right, but more frequently. And then there's going to be some redneck school somewhere that has both, and it's going to be a thing. I'm telling you, it's going to be a thing.
Jim already took this to the contentious territory, and not just reveling in the fact that there's going to be
I
girls flag
tried. You
football.
asked me what the was. I was showing restraint. You pressed the issue.
That's true, a little bit.
Well, because I wanted you to speak your heart.
I know. I didn't want to speak my heart.
Good for Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
I mean, this
good on them.
has been happening. We've had what the NFL has been supporting the flag football leagues for boys and girls. And
Yes,
Yeah.
and from
national
what I read, the
competitions, so.
Steelers and the Eagles were big contributors for this
Yeah.
league.
Well, the NFL's they're sponsoring, I don't know what you would call that, different age divisions throughout the country.
Right.
It's in the Olympics
Right.
next year.
So I think this is a natural progression of what has been happening already at like these younger ages that's being supported.
My question, separately from my contentious questions, what kind of field are we going to play on?
Baseball field.
Thank you, Nate.
Jim,
I meant like
where
is
other
it-
flag football happen on a football field?
so like turf and grass, both, right?
Whatever's available.
Okay.
What are we worried about?
I'm interested to see the wear and tear on the knees of the youth.
As opposed to them what?
Well, they'll be cutting more and spinning more and twisting more than regular football players because they're trying to avoid the flagging.
Well, see, it's funny you mentioned that because I saw a TikTok the other day
Uh-huh.
of some kid, I don't remember, he was like a college dropout or whatever, apparently. And he has made this prototype cleat where the screw ins at the bottom actually have the ability to flex or rotate side to side. And I want to say it's Joe Flacco actually is wearing these right now.
Huh.
And it's supposed to take away from that wear and tear of whenever athletes make cuts and their foot sticks in the ground.
Yeah. Very interested in that.
I'll see if I can find that and send it to the group.
Yeah, send that to me. Well, you can't send it to Muff. Muff doesn't like TikTok.
No, that's too damn bad.
I mean, you guys can send me anything you want. I just don't see them. All right, and that wraps up this week's episode of Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. As a reminder, you can catch us on YouTube. You can catch us on Spotify. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts. Thursday, you can catch the betting episode. Make sure you follow us at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. All those action verbs and
Get the bell on.
Ding ding.
to make sure that we continue to grow all the way into whatever the Portland soccer team, basketball team is going to be called. What are we going to be? The Portland Pioneers?
I don't know. We're gonna workshop this. Then we're gonna put our vote in.
Portland Pirates?
Better pirate the team than what we got currently.
Well, Nate's got Buccaneers. Watch out.
But that's not a pirate.
That is exactly what a pirate is, Jim.
Not you know what I'm saying, Muff.
Make sure that you tell a friend, make a friend, be
Be
a
a
friend.